What's up, you guys? James Strickland here. Welcome to week 39 on my road to 700 pounds on bench press. Long awaited for PR in the gym with my new grip. 650 pounds went down last Monday. I'm very excited to show that to you guys. Still weighing in about 302 pounds on an average morning. Kind of toying with the idea of sticking around 300 and not really wanting to push the envelope too much, up to the 308 mark. Only because I feel like crap when I get to 305, 306, and I really don't feel that much stronger, if any, than I do at the weight I am now, which is about 302 or 300, just depending on the morning. But I am making sure that I'm getting plenty of rest and recovery, like I've stressed to you guys. If you guys saw last week's recap 38, my deload, if you haven't already, or if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Got a lot of good information. Hopefully I'm putting a lot of good tips out there for you guys that are looking to get stronger in your bench and your squat and your deadlift, and following my journey on the road to 700 pounds for a raw 700 pound bench press. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and jump right into this week's recap video. Got about 15 minutes or so for you to check out. Go ahead and check it out. All right, so I like to start my bench days, obviously, with some heavy singles. And this is my last warm-up, 495, moving pretty quick here. And one of my other last ones is 585. Getting the lift off here from Jeff Yonker. He's an old training partner of mine. We've been training together for over a decade over at the world-renowned Woodland Strength and Conditioning. Last warm-up here, 620 pounds. And actually, I'm sorry, I think this is 625 pounds. Mark that wrong. Little shaky there. I actually caught a cramp in my right lat. And it kind of ran down the middle of my back. I actually couldn't get up here. Not funny at all, but something that happens occasionally. Normally happens in a meet. It really doesn't happen that often. I am very well hydrated. A lot of good sodium that I get in through my diet. Potassium levels are good. So I do make sure that I take care of any precautions that I can, but sometimes you just can't help it. Literally, I think I just got out of the groove just slightly, and it cramped that muscle up. I spent the next 10 minutes or so putting some Soar No More on, which is a great product from Skull Smash Ammonia, and rolling out on a hard plastic PVC pipe. Got it all worked out, slapped 650 on it. This is my top set for the day. This will be a PR, obviously, with this new grip being about 23 inches or so from index to index. Solid lift off here. This is a 800 pound deadlifter, Jeffrey Yonker. He's also a 2160 raw in sleeves total in the 308 weight class. Very excited about that 650 pounds. That's definitely, I feel like I could have got another one. Moving on, this is some static holds, and this is basically a way to feel heavier weight without actually going through the full range of motion. This really spikes the CNS. You guys have seen me do this before. If you're not new to the channel, that was a 745 pound static hold. Moving on, I've got some sets of speed bench with 515 pounds. Speed bench really works on that fast twitch muscle fiber. Gets those pecs and those triceps really working. Moving on, I've got a few sets of 470 pound wide grip bench. This is really working a wider grip than even my newest wide grip. This is basically pinkies, or actually ring fingers on the rings. And those really tire me out because it's definitely pre-exhausted from all the max that I've been doing from the previous sets. Moving on, I got a few sets of dips. This is weighted dips. This is just 135. And with the new body weight, this is actually pretty challenging. Trying to get some good range of motion there. You don't want to go down too far, and you definitely want to get a good hold at the top to stress the triceps a little bit. This is about half, and actually a little bit more than half of the weight that I have previously done in the gym. But with the new size that I have, just a little bit less mobility in the shoulders for sure, and with the additional 15 or so pounds of body weight, these are pretty challenging just with 135 pounds, roughly 140 or so with that pin. Moving on to some seal rows, 315 pounds, 3 sets of 6. Great back exercise here. You cannot get a much better back exercise than a seal row. I stress this to all my clients, and this is in all my programs. Moving on to some IYT raises. These are 10 pounds, and this is really, really good for shoulders. It's not too heavy, but it definitely will work those shoulders. You will feel this. It doesn't take a lot of weight. I do these, actually, I've got these twice this week, once on day 1 and once on day 3. Slightly different weight and different rep scheme, but nevertheless, this is a good prehab for shoulder injuries, as well as some rehab. You're not stressing. It's not like an overhead press or any kind of real funny situation that you're having to put yourself into, and your shoulders aren't having to really get into. So some guys have some issues with dips because of their shoulder mobility or their shoulder injury. This is a good substitute for shoulders if you're not able to do overhead presses or dips and things like that. As you can see, I'm gonna get a little winded here. I start slowing down the reps because it is very exhausting, but it definitely will work that shoulder. Moving on, I've got some floor flies. This is with the 50 pounds, and these are paused right just above the floor. Basically, I let my elbows just barely touch the floor, and I want to stay in the pecs the whole time. This is a great pec exercise. Obviously, I'm working a wider grip, but this does stress a little bit extra growth in the pecs and a little bit more strength, so that I am able to handle heavier weight as we move on to 665 and 700 and so on. I definitely want my pecs to hold up. But the last thing for day 1 here is some banded push downs. Great for elbow health. 2 sets of 100. This is another thing that doesn't take a lot of weight. That band probably is maybe 30 to 50 pounds of tension, depending on how hard you pull it. And it definitely will give you a little bit of a burn in the elbows and triceps, and that's okay. That's what you want. It's kind of working the tendons and not necessarily the muscle. But sometimes I'll change up the grip on this just to give a little activation, slightly different at the different parts of the arm. But I've covered this before, and I definitely covered it last week. One thing that I definitely stress, and no pun intended, is to make sure that you can take care of outside stresses. I feel like at this point in my training, life is going very well. I've got stress under control. I've got diet under control, and it really things are coming together. So it's just a matter of staying injury free at this point. Moving on, day 2. Just want to make sure I'm still working my legs in there. Worked up to 615 for 5. This is a gym PR. Definitely excited about this. Want to keep the legs in the game just to make sure that I'm strong overall. Also, when I do ramp up and want to do a full power meet, I'm not having to work up from scratch. I've definitely got a good base here. I do feel that my core benefits from doing these squats and deadlifts. I've actually made a conscious effort this week to start doing my squats and deadlifts on the same day. So you won't be seeing a heavy squat and heavy deadlift alternating day. What I probably will do is go ahead and do, like you'll see a little bit later today, I'm going to hit deadlifts, and what I'll do next week is probably alternate. I don't know if you guys caught that. Going to alternate heavy squats one week, heavy deadlifts the next week, but still do them on the same day. That will free up my Fridays to get one more extra day of rest before my bench Monday. If you guys know my training split, typically Thursday is like my second bench day with light shoulders, and I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Light bench and shoulders, and then Friday would be like my deadlift day, depending on if I'm going heavy or light. Either way, it would still be a workout day, and then Saturday, Sunday would be off, and then Monday is heavy bench. Because we are getting significantly heavier, considering this week was 650, I do feel recovery is still on point, but this is just a precaution going forward, and I'm going to go ahead and still keep the squats probably in the 5s, If they start getting too high, I'll get into the threes. This is a 685. The goal here today was 5 reps. You saw me fiddling with that strap there a little bit. I've broken a few of these. Straps are definitely there to keep my biceps healthy because I am an over-under grip, and it's not the weight of the bar that really is going to hinder my grip, but I don't want to have any kind of bicep injury when I'm going for bench only. Taking a breath there at the top to really solidify that I'm tight going down. Started feeling that strap slip, and I went ahead and just said, you know what, it's not worth any kind of craziness. I'm just going to stop this at 3. I'm not necessarily going for any PRs, and it's not a bad day if I don't get one. I mean, hell, it's 685. So 3 reps there. I'll call that a good day. Moving on, day 3, which is actually my second upper body day. Moving on to some lat, wide grip lat pull downs. This is 210 pounds with a 10-pound plate to make 220. These feel really good. Moving on, another great shoulder exercise is the front and lateral raises with your rear delt superset. This one is a great superset. You will feel it. This is 25 pounds, not real heavy, and I'm not feeling it just yet. Typically, I get to the rear delt, and that's where I start feeling the burn. Definitely feel it on the second and third sets. But you want to stay as strict as possible on these. You don't need to go up to your ears or anything crazy with the dumbbells. Just getting a really good stretch in that shoulder, and you will feel it for sure. So make sure you're getting some good rest in between these sets. If you're having to take extra rest as far as 5-10 minutes between each set, you probably want to lighten the dumbbells just a hair. You don't need to take that much rest. Moving on, I got some throat pulls, and this is 60 pounds, not real heavy. I had to kind of rig up some stuff here to get this to work today. A few sets here of 12. This is a great upper back exercise. One more back exercise that I have in my armory here. Big back definitely equals a strong middle section, and a strong middle section core is going to translate to a great foundation for a big bench, a big squat, and a big deadlift. I've got some light bench here, 90 pounds. Putting legs up for good measure, just trying to get a little extra work here because this is very light. A couple sets of 15. Really just getting some extra volume, light volume in for bench. Another good exercise, stretch rather, is the dumbbell pullover. This is straight arm, fully extended, and really want to get a good stretch at the top, and that's where you're really working the bottom of the pecs. You really want to stretch that. I really feel it in the lats a little bit too. This is 60 pounds for a couple sets of 15. This is great for prehab as well, just to stretch out any kind of tight pecs that you might have. That front delt gets stretched quite a bit. But just to kind of recap, I am getting about an average of about 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Typically 8 is a good estimate for me. Really just sleep until I wake up. I do own my own business, so that does make my life a little easier. Made that decision about 16 years ago, and never have regretted it. It's allowed me to really take the wheel for my training and my life, just to really kind of make my own schedule. Definitely need that rest. Moving on, this is a great tricep exercise, the calves press. It's 245 pounds. This is not supposed to be a chest press at all. This is literally staying in the triceps and really hammering those. Show you a couple different angles here. Really just working just at that top 3 to 4 inches. And if I feel it all in the pecs, I either squeeze the elbows a little tighter towards my body, or I don't allow it to come down as far. I don't want to feel this at all in the pecs. I literally want the main mover of this to be the triceps. If your triceps are burning after this and your pecs aren't, then you're doing it right. A little closer angle here, just to show you exactly what's moving here. really firing off intently every single rep. That is a good way to train with everything. Every rep is almost singled out just to perfect your technique, especially on a lighter day. I really am not working on banging out as many reps as possible. I'm really focused on trying to just keep everything tight and perfect the movement. Moving on here, some IYT raises like I did earlier in the week. A little bit heavier here, so got a little bit of extra energy. Didn't do a lot of extra stuff in the middle of the day today. Obviously didn't do any 650-pound benches, so definitely have some energy left. You can start seeing a little fatigue coming in there. And that wraps it up for this week's recap video. Like I said, I really do want to stress again the importance of getting good rest and good recovery. I am constantly being reached out to via various social media forums, and basically it's the biggest thing is, how do I get better at lifting in general? I'm always tired, I'm always hurting, I'm always injured or something like that. And my number one answer is, or a question back to them is literally, how much sleep do you get? And I'll actually cover that here in a second as far as part of my question and answer sessions. But if they tell me, I'm only getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep, I know myself, and most people, 4 to 5 hours of sleep is really not that much. And I know there's a general consensus out there with successful people that, if you're sleeping, you're not making money, or you're not pursuing your dream. Here's the thing: the body is meant to rest and to rebuild while you sleep. So if you are trying to, let's say, go chase down your multi-million dollar house and car and dream girl or whatever, and you need to take away from your sleep in order to do that, I can see that might be something that you'd be willing to gamble with. But if you're talking about getting stronger and making your body do something that it's really not meant to do, it's not really meant to go, especially if you're looking at elite levels, but you're kind of, everybody is a little bit lazy by nature, if you will. I know I am. So you're basically doing something as far as stressing your body, you're stressing your muscles, and you're doing it, a lot of guys are doing it every single day. And you're expecting your body to somehow just magically repair itself, because that's the whole point of getting bigger and stronger, is you have to allow your body to actually repair itself. And if you don't, then you're not going to see the results that you want. And with all that said, the only place that I know that is ideal for you to repair your body is while you're sleeping. And so if you're not getting your proper rest and recovery, sleep, you're not going to get the results. So with that said, there's really some other things that you can go into, but if you're not eating, if you're not sleeping, if your stress levels are not down and taken care of, all that's going to play a role in you not getting to your next level, or getting to that next level of whatever you're pursuing in the gym. So with that said, that's probably the most important thing, the most important question that I ever get. And I just want to kind of give a blanket approach to that. Obviously, everybody's a little bit different. Everybody may have a different situation that's going on. There might be a kind of a prescription, if you will, for making your life a little easier to get to your goal, because maybe you work shift work and there's absolutely no way to get 8 hours of total sleep. And I totally get that. But maybe you can rest somehow or another. Instead of going out to the bar, you can actually take a quick nap. Or instead of, going out and playing football with your friends, which I get is fun, if you're pursuing something in the weight room, maybe you need to take away from the fun time in order to get a little more weight time in and get some more rest time in later in the day. But so with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the question and answers that were submitted this week. I didn't have anybody from YouTube that really had a question that was not different from any of the other ones in the past. But I do encourage you guys to go ahead and submit some in the questions or shoot them to me on an email, swimhack@gmail.com. But all this week's questions came from Instagram. And if you're not over there, or if you are over there, go ahead and follow me at SwimHack. If you're not over there, go ahead and get you an account and then follow me at SwimHack. So without further ado, going to jump right into the question and answers this week. The first one is from Strong John on Instagram, and he asks, where did the name SwimHack originate from? So back before my powerlifting days, back before I even cared about what weights really were, I was a swimmer. I was a swimmer from the age of about 14 or so, competitively on until technically now. I haven't done a meet since about 2008 or so, but I am very competitive in the pool. I still stay somewhat competitive. I think if I jumped into a competition, tomorrow, I could hold my own. I'm definitely not going to be near my fastest times that I was in the past. But just to give you guys a little kind of insight into the swimming world, my 50 free time right now would probably be in a yards pool, with a full, Speedo and goggles and everything like that, would probably be somewhere in the range of high 22 second to maybe 23 seconds or so. I've done it in a kind of a 24-hour fitness style pool with some board shorts on and goggles and a kind of a crappy lane line, and it was right around 24. So I think under the right conditions, I'd probably be at 23 and realize I'm 300 pounds right now. But in my fastest, I've been in the 20-point range, and that's, kind of my stroke was freestyle and breaststroke, broke a minute in the 50 or in the 100 breast. I'm sorry, but with all that said, I'm a competitive swimmer at heart. I actually envision myself as a better swimmer than I do powerlifter. I don't think I was ever top one in the world for swimming. So I guess technically powerlifting would be my better sport, but my heart's always been with swimming. And since I was about 14, which is about the same age that I started swimming, I started really taking interest in computers. And so I know how to fix them, I know how to break them down, and know how to build things. I do web design, even to this day. I own a website design company. So the word hacker kind of stuck with me ever since that age. So swim and hack, swim hacker, that's kind of where it all came from. I like to kind of say now, because I'm a powerlifter, it's kind of like I hacked all of that pre-programmed being a swimmer and now being a powerlifter, which totally different worlds, kind of hacked into that world and became something different. But that's where the name comes from. I appreciate Strong John for submitting that. Next one is from Yuri Protein, and he asked what I do for a living. Kind of already covered that, but I'll go ahead and do a little bit in depth with that. I own a company called Strickland Technology based out of Houston. We're actually the largest web design company, or we were for a while, kind of backed off on that. We're the largest web design company in Houston. Do anything from custom websites, mobile websites, all the way to like custom databases. Started it on my own, hired a few people, fired a few people, but definitely still handle a few clients for sure. Not really pushing too much into the web design business because I really am pursuing the training and obviously everything to do with my powerlifting. And I've got a pretty good setup going on, but that's what I do for a living. Very fun. I probably will never really stop doing that because I really like computers and but definitely love internet and websites. So, something along the lines of programming probably for the rest of my life. Moving on, I've got Shaminder Moonday, hope I'm saying that right, from Instagram, and asks, best way to get stronger at bench. So easy answer is bench. Actually do flat bench, barbell bench. If you're trying to get better at barbell bench, then barbell bench. If you're looking to compete, obviously you're going to be using a barbell. If you're looking to just get stronger in general and using bench related exercises, then you can do a variety of things. You can do, there's all sorts of specialty bars, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that you mean just in bench. Easiest way to get better at bench is actually to get on a system, find a program that, even if it's a simple 5x5 program, and just follow that and actually write out a program. I would say go for 12 weeks and actually write out what your goals are by the end, and then kind of work backwards. And, be honest with yourself. Let's say you got a 315 bench right now and you want a 405 bench. You're not going to get that in 12 weeks. Not really. If you do, something's off with your max being 315 right now. I don't see anybody really gaining that much. But let's say you want to go 335 in 12 weeks and you got 315 now. I think that's pretty nominal. What you want to do is work backwards from the 1 rep being 335, and then maybe the week before that, try to work up to like 325. And then the week before that, maybe a set of doubles for a couple weeks at a little bit lower weight than the 325, maybe in the 315 to 310, 305 range. And then just start building kind of a pyramid going backwards until you get to where you are now. And that being maybe reps of 5 to 8. But you definitely want to put accessories in there. You don't want to just bench. You want, and I recommend 70% of your workout being accessory work. It's worked very well for me. It's worked very well for a lot of people that I've seen. Very few people have I seen have less than that kind of percentage. When I say percentage of workout, I'm not talking about the weight. I'm talking about the actual time. So if you're in the gym for an hour, then 45 minutes of that is doing accessories, and the other 15 minutes is like warm up and main sets, like the main bench sets. Some accessories that are really good that have worked for me, and you're welcome to look on the internet, check out some other stuff, but you definitely want to hit your triceps, so maybe some tricep rope for one, or weighted dips. Hit your pecs, some flies, either with cable flies or dumbbell flies. A lot of that you see me doing. You can definitely check out some of my recaps. Got a lot of those accessories in play there. Definitely want to hit your back. I would say several times a week with some row variant, either seal row or one arm DB rows, pendulay rows, bent over rows, kind of the same thing. Seated rows, it works a little bit of the lower back. Those are just a few things that you can do, but definitely just work on being patient. Nobody is going to literally get a 500 bench overnight, a 400 bench overnight. It takes time. It is very easy to look up and see, like myself, I looked at Jeremy Hornstra and Spoto and all those guys when I was kind of getting into the game. And it's very easy to get caught up and go, my God, the guy is repping 600. I just want 500 so I can get that in a year, but I'm at 415 now. Break it down. Go 455 or go 225 and then go 315. That's a big jump, but take it down into steps that you can actually accomplish yourself. And I promise you, over time, you will take those little bitty steps, and the next thing you know, you'll look back and you'll be 100 floors higher than what you were when you started. If you look at every single step and you start counting them, it takes forever. But so that's it for this week's question and answers. Like I said, if you want to join in and get your question answered, definitely submit a comment down below, and I will take a look and see if I can't get it on maybe one of the next videos. Very excited. Week 40 next week. Going to be hitting that on Monday. 665 will be there for a single. Looking to really blow that up. Technically, my PR in the gym, I say technically because it wasn't real pretty, was back several months ago. I did 675 before doing 672, actually a year ago, sorry, before doing 672 in a meet. It was a real grinder, but my best, cleanest lift, I think, in the gym was the 661 you guys saw back in February, or just before February, before the last meet, and that was on the calibrated plates. So I'm really wanting to have the 665 look like that, but more under control, and then we'll just keep on going from there. And so kind of looking to see when a good time to do a meet is, really kind of planning some stuff out, trying to see when the best timing would be, but look forward to that. Going to recap all that for you next week. Wish me the best of luck. I never go into a training day assuming that I'm going to get anything. I always have a little bit of humility. Obviously, I want to make sure that I'm not getting too cocky, because that's how you get hurt. But I definitely want to go in with confidence. So today is Friday. I'm going to actually be taking the full weekend. Obviously, had rest today, rest tomorrow for Saturday and Sunday. Eating very, very well, getting the calories in, getting the rest and recovery in, and just hanging out with the family. That's what actually makes me feel good. It takes care of my family obligations, my fatherly duties, my husband duties, just so that I'm stress-free. So when I walk into the gym, it's go time. It's straight business with me and the weight. But glad to share that with you guys. I'll be at Dubs Barbell Club with Justin Dubs lifting off for me. He'll be the guy actually lifting off for me at the meet. So definitely getting ready for that. But once again, want to shout out to my website. If you guys want some cool bench shirts, check it out, benchonly.com. I definitely have my training programs over there. Would be happy to share those with you guys. Definitely find me on Instagram at SwimHack. And until next week, Like and subscribe this video. I appreciate it. Share it with all your friends, and I will see you then. See ya.